Welcome to today's video, guys. Are you sick about hearing about the giveaway? Because good news for you, it's over. Usually around this time, you guys will ask, when is the giveaway winner going to be announced? The legal company that handles all the entries takes a while to process everything. And as of right now in the rules, it says that the winner will be announced on or around July 14th, which is about 2 weeks from now. So make sure to keep an eye on your email, on your phone, because what happens is the winner will be contacted and then they need to be confirmed. And there's like a 48-hour window. If they don't confirm, it goes to the runner-up. So you could win and miss out, and it has happened before. As with other giveaways, the first day and the last day are always insane and we get a massive influx of orders. So I just ask that you be patient. The guys are working super hard, packing your orders, shipping your orders, and we're doing our best to get it to you as fast as possible, and I hope you're gonna love everything that you get. Of all the giveaways we've done, this one has definitely been the most successful by far, so I just wanna extend a massive thank you to all you guys that entered. It has a huge impact on what we do. I had a lot of fun with it, and I hope you guys are gonna enjoy everything that you got. In other news, I got my keeper wheels for the Porsche. So these are HRE's R101 lightweight. Pretty much one of the lightest wheels that you can put on these cars, and I think one of the best looking. As my dream to have on my last GT3 RS, I wound up buying a used set from the last generation GT3 RS, knowing that they wouldn't fit perfectly because I didn't want to wait for a new set, but if you remember, I had those carbon loaner wheels from HRE, got to do some promo stuff with them, and then they were able to make this happen for me on the quicker side, so I'm stoked. This is the Stone Dark Clear finish. It's kind of cool, different. It makes them look fancy versus just like a normal powder coat. And I'm pretty happy with how they look on the car. I think monoblocks suit the car way better. The carbon was cool, but it wasn't really my thing. This looks gangster, fitment's perfect. And next up, I think I'm gonna bring the car over to my buddy Kevin, and he'll do probably about like a 15 mil drop. You can actually drop on the factory coilovers and lower the car, and then corner balance it and align it, and I think it's gonna look perfect. Believe it or not too, these wheels are a bit lighter than the ones with the carbon barrels just because of its monoblock versus three-piece design. I think over the stock wheels, it's like a 6 to 7 pound saving per corner, which when it's rotational mass, that translates to like a insane difference. All right guys, today's video is brought to you again by ShipStation. When you run a business, every second counts, whether it's personal time, time building your brand, marketing, developing products, and ShipStation is gonna save you a lot of time. It's gonna automate time-intensive shipping processes, and it's gonna let you spend more time doing the stuff you wanna do with your brand. It's already trusted by over 100,000 sellers, people in the UK, people in Canada, people in Australia. It's not just the USA. All right, so here's what you gotta know. It works on Amazon, Etsy, eBay, and a lot of other storefronts. It gives you access to deeply discounted shipping rates that are usually reserved for Fortune 500 companies, and it lets you easily compare carriers, rates, and delivery times so you can pick the best option for every scenario. When we made the change over to ShipStation a few years ago, it saved us a ton of time during things like these giveaway periods, especially when we're dealing with other vendors that are drop shipping. ShipStation makes shipping orders a breeze. It's time to let go of all the shipping tasks because ShipStation can do it better and faster. And you can sign up for a free 60-day trial at shipstation.com/AdamLZ and start saving money on every shipment. 2 months of shipping made quick and painless, and it's free to try. Just go to shipstation.com/AdamLZ and make ship happen. I want to give a massive thank you for sponsoring this video. I appreciate it, and now we're gonna go back to the content. Originally, the very stretch of a goal was to have the 4-rotor Super ready for our Atlanta Motorsports event that is this Monday, July 4th. But obviously, because of a lot of scenarios that came up between the E36, the fire, and everything, I'm gonna be driving the green F15 there. So it's ready to go, and I wanna let you guys know we still have show car parking available, so if you've got a special car and you wanna park it where everyone can see it, that's available. We've still got some vendor spots open. If you wanna sell some stuff, get more brand awareness, come out. We've got a few VIP spots left. If you wanna know what the VIP gets you get a free shirt, VIP parking, early entry, upper level viewing, and most importantly, you get one free ride along. The track is sick. They only let drifting happen one time a year because of noise regulations, and we have it for July 4th. So come out, it's gonna be a lot of fun, and I'll have more information in the description. All right, now we'll do a quick walkthrough and update on some of the projects. E36 is getting prepped for the $50,000 prize purse shootout in Indiana. Johan's redoing the exhaust on that right now. Chaser is getting the AC dialed in. CRX is waiting on some parts. The Super roll cage just shipped, so that's very exciting. That's like kind of the next big piece of that puzzle. And then the title of the video, the topic that you're waiting for, we'll dive into now. All right, so what you see behind me right here is a crashed 2015 911 Turbo. I didn't originally plan to make any content with this car for a while. However, it kind of got leaked on social media. It appeared in the background of a few videos. You guys already caught on to it, so I'm gonna tell you what's going on with it. I bought this car back in January. It was one of those things that popped up on Facebook. It was a crackhead deal, a slight gamble, but it seemed like something fun. This car, I would say, has a retail value of around, let's say, 120 to 150 grand right now in today's market. I purchased it for $25,000. What is its purpose? I don't know. I didn't know when I got it. I still don't know now. There are a few ideas that I have that I wanted to do with it. But the first priority was figuring out if this car ran. The story that I got, it crashed into a tree, had a bunch of fluid leaks, and then Trenton, who's the real MVP of this whole thing, was able to go get the car basically on last minute's notice because people were fighting over this thing like crazy. The motor alone was worth the price that I paid for this car, not to mention the transmission, the clean interior that you're about to see. And Trenton went out in the middle of like an Oregon snowstorm, because it's where this car was located, got it, couldn't even make it home because the snow was so bad, and it wound up living at his grandpa's house until the weather got better. Sure enough, once the weather got better, that's when gas prices went crazy, shipping prices became so insane that the car actually sat over there for probably about 6 months until Brendan Wicknick was on his way out here and was able to bring it over for an affordable rate. So now we have the car here. It got dropped off, and the first thing that I wanted to do before even diving into anything was figuring out if the engine was good. Because what I didn't know is the car actually had a pretty big crack in the oil pan and some oil lines missing. So I was terrified that maybe the car was ran with no oil in it and the motor was knocking, which would turn a crackhead deal into a paperweight that I just need to part out to get my money back. So this will go back in the past now to me being super eager to know whether I made a great investment or a bad investment, and basically had Marco hop on fixing the oil leak so we could see if the car started. I expected there to be oil.
Just gonna put that right back.
Oh, it's coming. Oh, it's coming.
That's pretty clean. I mean, there's some little chunky boys right there, but I don't know what that is.
Looks like our TV, maybe.
So I don't want to go and spend money on a bunch of body parts and start fixing things before I know the engine's good. I was told it should be fine because the car turned off before it had a crack in the pan, or before it leaked oil, I mean. So I had Marco weld up the little holes in the turbo drain pan and in the oil pan, put some fresh Pennzoil in it. I'm gonna see if she turns on. Basically, if it turns on, this car was a crazy steal. I paid 25 grand for this car. If the motor's no good, then I need to part it out, and then it's just an okay deal. Now, the car might not let itself turn on because the airbag's deployed, but we'll see. I just got 7,000 error codes at once. So it might turn on, but I don't think that's enough power. Do we have a bigger jump pack?
Dropping to like 9 volts when you start cranking.
Yeah. I've got a brake fluid error, I've got a parking brake error, I've got a steering error, brake fluid level parking error. The tire, can we check the tire pressure? If this thing starts, I'm looking stoked. Is that motor? You heard the clicking.
A little smoky.
It started. Sounds fine.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. That's like so basically I paid the same price for the full car as like less than what that motor would cost. So this just turned into a sick deal. It runs. Oh, there's no coolant in it. There's that. Should I rev it? Yes. Yeah.
Sounds like a little diesel.
Yeah, I'm stoked. Usually, like with all the Japanese cars, we gotta be checking the timing and changing the coil packs and doing ECU things. Look at that, dude. Brand new car. Had Marco weld some up, and she runs. Yeah. Good work, dude. It was one of those things. I was like, man, I don't want to waste time all day if like the car doesn't even let it turn on.
There wasn't like any money involved. It's just a little weld time.
Yeah, so like I looked on eBay and it's like $800 for a new pan, like all the turbo lines, all this. It's like I could end up spending thousands and thousands of dollars and then just find out that the motor's cooked. So we didn't, and now we know it's not cooked. So now I go and spend thousands and thousands of dollars.
That'll teach them.
All right, back to present. We know that the car runs, and I'm gonna give you guys a walk around of kind of the damage that I've seen, the overall condition of the car, and more than anything, hopefully someone out there watching this has access to some of the parts that I need, because I have learned that it is very difficult not only to find the parts, but to figure out the part numbers. So front end, the tub is pretty much crunched. Is it possible to pull it out and get it to so things would fit? Yes. Will it be easy? Probably not. It'll be a lot of work to make all the bumpers and everything line up and to make it a nice car. However, if I can find access to a front tub, if someone has like a rear-ended 911 from this generation, it seems like that would probably be the best option to get everything lined up. All the coolers that go in front pretty much broke or are smashed up. Luckily, I thought there was oil coolers in the front, which would have been a lot more of a nightmare, but it's just coolant, and that's why we were able to run the car just with no coolant for a few seconds. So I've got to source pretty much everything forward. Luckily, this fender seems like it's in pretty good shape. This headlight's in pretty good shape. On these cars, the fenders actually aren't too expensive because it's the same as every other 911. The headlights aren't too bad either. The problem is, I think I want to do, they call them turbo cups. So you basically put like a GT3 Cup car bumper on and GT3 Cup car front fenders on, and then you essentially have what looks like a Cup car, especially if you can source the wing. Now I know there's a lot of companies out there that, you know, build and crash Cup cars, so hopefully someone watching this video can reach out that has access to Cup car parts, because I'm kind of struggling on that front too. But it looks like most of the damage on the front end is cosmetic. You know, obviously like this is not ideal, but over here, when you go back to where the actual suspension arms are, the only point that looks like it might have moved slightly is this front tension rod. So let's just say hypothetically, if I can't pull this back out to spec, I could always get an adjustable arm. The car's not gonna be perfect, but I think it's definitely drivable. The damage was much less than I originally thought it was. Even the strut tower, you know, I need to take some measurements, but it doesn't look like anything here was moved or shifted, so that's great. You know, my chaser was totaled so bad that the strut tower was moved like 3 inches in, and we were still able to pull it out and make it drivable. So don't know what this car is gonna turn into. I'm not planning to build it back together just to flip it and sell it to someone and say that it's a perfect 911. Because believe it or not, this car came with a clean title. It was in an accident, the person didn't have insurance, really sucks. I think a lot of people wanted to buy this car with the intention to repair it and sell it to an unknowing buyer as a clean car, and I'm kind of happy that we got it, because that'd be really shady if someone ended up with this car that paid good money and it turned out to be crashed and they didn't know about it. So walking around, I haven't even dove into the parts that are in here. Looks like the brakes are in here. That's nice. Brakes are probably not cheap for this car. Do some lights, modules. It's gonna be kind of a nightmare to figure out how to get all the stuff together, but the cosmetic thing is like the last priority. Before I show you the best, we'll just keep walking. We'll go in chronological order. There's so much to talk about. Basically, arms, I need to source these arms. They look pretty easy to still get from Porsche. It's annoying. I've been looking at like part outs and stuff, but there's so many weird little variations between like the turbo model, because it's all-wheel drive, the 911 4S, and the GT3s, that I think I'm just gonna order these arms new. They're not terribly expensive. Need arms, need a tie rod, need an axle, maybe a strut. It looks like it dropped down, but, oh, and a sway bar end link. Ooh, and this, what's this? Like a ride level sensor? But I'm gonna do that, get the car, let's say, drivable before I even worry about pulling any panels or anything. And then in the rear end, you guys already saw some of the damage. We did a little ghetto fix to the oil pan just to be able to get it to hold oil, but I'll probably order a new one in addition to that pickup tube that looks like it got a little bit crushed. This side was pretty much fine, everything was intact, but this side, the manifold got damaged, bent a little bit, the wastegate got broken off the turbo, and the compressor is a little broken and up, because I think the car kind of went like off-roading on this corner. Intercoolers look fine, but I think I'm gonna replace them. The plan is to send the turbos out to Pure. They offer like a 850 series turbo, which I'm assuming probably does somewhere around 800 wheel, which is crazy. These motors, if you aren't familiar with them, 3.8 liter, twin turbo, almost as ridiculous as my 992 Turbo S was. You do turbos in a tune on these things, you can make like 750 plus on pump gas, and they're just like incredible engines. PDK trans, they sound insane because like literally your exhaust basically just goes from here to here. But the plan was we were trying to get an assessment on what parts are needed, so that way I could put this car on rollers, push it off in a corner, throw a tarp over it, and then announce it once I have the parts needed to rebuild the car. Unfortunately, because of the internet and because you guys are so smart, it got leaked, and now I'm having to tell you guys to deal with the project, and then it gets pushed off to the corner and not touched for a little while. So turbos are easy to source, oil pan's easy to source, pickups easy to source. I was able to order manifolds. I'll probably be able to get a exhaust. What I'm having a little bit of a difficult time right now, the lower like turbo drain thing, I need to source that. So if you guys happen to know anyone that has one of those, there's like one turbo line that I need to source that shouldn't be difficult. This doesn't look bent, so that's good. Intercoolers, I can get new ones of, might as well change those while everything's off. Yeah, like underneath, Everywhere else looks pretty solid. The main annoying thing is gonna be sourcing all the coolers for the front and everything. You can kind of see the damage a little bit better underneath now, what's going on. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. I wonder if there's an easy way to measure kind of like where this is supposed to be and where it is now. Why don't we do that real quick? I think I can do that. I think if I pull this under panel off, I can get a measurement from here to here, a measurement from here to here, and that'll let us know if it got pushed inward. And then I can also use like this as a rear point to figure out if it moved back at all. Because I think I haven't seen underneath this. I'm gonna pull that off. Big Porsche mechanic guy. All right, this is the first look I've gotten underneath here. It's not looking too bad. Let me grab measuring tape. You can see the bolt did move here a little bit just by like the rings around it. So forward to back, we'll go center of bolt, center of this bolt, we get about 18.6 inches. If it's off, actually no, it's definitely not off, because if it was off, it's like 1/10 of an inch too far forward, but that wouldn't make sense with the impact. So that's looking pretty good. I imagine you could probably get a new like girdle or something like this if it's needed. Yeah, I don't either. I mean, the little chip sucks on the edge, but what is supposed to be there? Just like a little...
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Measurement from this bolt to here, 8.4 inches. Yeah, so the only suspension arm underneath that looks like it could have moved from on a body point doesn't appear to have moved. However, like you might notice this up here, the upper point where the bolt goes into, it looks like the structural integrity of this is a little damaged. I don't know if this is aluminum or what, but this might need to be welded. I wonder if this point's moved. The lower is fine, but maybe the upper shifted slightly. Either way though, the amount it moved is like very minimal. Shout out to Trenton's grandpa, because he actually welded these arms back together just so the car could roll. He had a pretty like crazy rig. I'll see if I have a photo of like trailer tires on the front, just because it was impossible to move the car without it. You can see up in here, the shock kind of like dropped down through the knuckle. I don't know if that's salvageable. I'm gonna assume the shock's bad. Obviously the axle's bad, but like funny enough, that axle, it's like 250 bucks new from Porsche. You gotta be careful, because a lot of times your instinct will be to go and buy used parts. The same axle that's $250 new, people sell for like $650 used. And there's a lot of situations where you can actually get new parts from the dealer cheaper than used parts on the market. Great examples like S15 bumpers. Some of them you can still buy new from the dealer for like 250 bucks, but people see them pop up on Facebook and think that they're hard to get, and they'll spend like double the amount of money for them. Yeah, this obviously is a little crunched up here and might need to be addressed, but at least the measurements, it doesn't necessarily need to get pulled from a alignment or a like drivability standpoint. It would just be more so for like an aesthetic, cosmetic thing. I mean, that's great, because if this shifted, it could with so much under here.
Yeah, I know. I have a problem with that.
He's talking about the Supra. This side's clean. The fender looks like it moved a hair on this side from the impact, but I think it's enough that I can just get an adjustment out of the top of the fender to get it lined up. The rest of the body is pretty clean. The bumper has like a little mess up on the bottom that like maybe can just get fixed from a diffuser. And then this side, obviously apart from the front, the door looks like it's perfect. The side skirt looks like it's perfect. So the aesthetic things the car needs overall are kind of minimal. Inside is probably my favorite part about this car. I don't know if this was an individual option to do the red stitching, but it's got full red interior and it's in beautiful condition apart from the steering wheel airbag and the footwell airbag going off. So I'm super stoked. I don't really know the purpose of what this is going to be. I'll let you know some of my ideas have been maybe do a safari build, but speaking with Lee, it's not really the best just because the cars are so big that they don't really fit in like a lot of narrow spaces. Other than that, it's like it could just be a beater fast daily that no one cares about, because how it's like getting to have a car this sick and not have to be worrying about driving around a $150,000 car is pretty sick. What I really want to do with it is take it to Cletus's spectator drags. Set this thing up with like a good alignment, some bigger turbos, and just go rip it around the oval. But that's one thing. So if you guys have ideas, let me know. But more than anything, my hopes of this video is that someone will watch it that has access to some of the parts that this car needs, maybe knows someone, and I can start to get things in the queue, showing up, arriving. That way, when it's time to jump on this project, we got everything we need and we can get it back running and driving. First priority, get the turbos on, get the engine able to run and keep cool and do its thing on its own. And then from there, suspension stuff so the car can drive. And then from there, cosmetic stuff. My buddy Kevin over at Porsche has already helped a bunch with like little questions and things, and there's definitely gonna be a lot of programming and random things going on. But having him a text away will be very, very beneficial. And I'm excited for just to kind of tinker with this thing. Like I said, this is not going to be something that is gonna be happening anytime soon, but now I don't need to worry about hiding it in every video since it's gonna be probably pushed in a corner of a shop or on this lift chilling. So a big update video. I know I've got to leave for Puerto Rico in like 2 or 3 hours. We're going to Tuner Evo. Excited to meet a lot of you guys out there. I'm really excited to get to experience the island. I've got like one chill day. I've got the show, and then we go straight to Atlanta Motorsports Park for the Drift HQ event. So I appreciate you guys watching this video, and I will see you soon.
When you